Hello, I am Warrant Officer First Class Thibeault, and in this video I will be talking to you a bit about parade boots. Now this video is going to be a bit different from all my other ones because I will not be actually demonstrating it, but I would like to say a few words on it, and in the description I will link 3 videos on demonstrations that are done much better than anything I could do, given the time of these videos. So, shining parade boots has a very fundamental first principle, and that's in order to get a shine, you need polish on polish. Now, I'm sure for everyone, when they first got issued their parade boots, the first thing they did is they opened a tin of polish, they got water, they put this tiny little dab of polish and water on their finger, and they started doing tiny little circles, and they did that for a couple hours, and it yielded no results. Because the foundation, the base coats of both the wax polish and optionally beeswax is very important. So, I'll show you a set of parade boots that I began working on. This was a couple days ago. These still need a lot of work done to them, but I'll show you these. So, put them in better light. So you can see, dusty. You can see these parade boots have no creases in them because that is due to the base in them. The process that I went through with these parade boots is I stripped them down completely. So in order to strip parade boots, and that's pretty much the first thing you should do whenever you get parade boots, you want to take all the polish off. So get yourself a horsehair brush. If your sink runs hot enough, just put your sink on the hottest water. If not, boil up a kettle, get your horsehair brush, and get a microfiber cloth and just scrub off all that polish until there's nothing left. And then what you want to do is, this is pretty optional, but I would highly recommend using a saddle soap and or some kind of leather moisturizer to properly maintain your leather, because it's about the health of the leather in a sense, but that's not necessary. The main thing is you want a lot of base coats, and how you apply base coats is you'll take your finger or a latex glove with your finger in it, and you're going to dry apply at very least 20 layers of base coats just lathered onto your boot, and you'll put it on, and then you'll just be doing very quick back and forth motions, just applying evenly coats and coats, and it's not going to shine it. And that's not what a base coat is doing. It's laying the foundation so that you can get a wax on wax shine. So that's how you actually get that mirror shine, is when you put enough base coats that you can no longer see the actual grainy texture of the leather itself, so that you can then see it. If you want to go above and beyond, you can also add in 2 steps before you do the base coating, which is what I've done here with this set of boots. You'll see right there, you'll see there used to be creases in these boots, but there isn't anymore. So that's what allows me to get that shine going from the key right there all the way down to the toe. These boots still needed a lot of work, but that's a work in progress. Now, what you'll do is you'll iron the boots. Sounds ridiculous, but you do it. You'll stuff the boots with socks so that all the creases are forced upwards so that you get a flat surface on the boot. You see on this boot here, there's minimal indenting. So most boots have the natural flex of the foot. They will cause creases to go inwards, but you'll see that's pretty flat. So you'll stuff it with socks to force those creases upwards. You'll put a wet towel over top the boots, and then with an iron, push down into your boots and iron your boots until you get those creases out. So that's how you see on this set of parades, specifically on the section in between the toe cap and the key. You can see it's noticeably used to be a crease. That material right there, you can really see that texture in this lighting. That texture in between the key and the toe, that used to be a crease. So that crease was forced out and ironed up. Now, that's how you get rid of a crease. How to actually prevent creases from happening is beeswax. So you'll get yourself just straight up beeswax. It's pretty cheap off of Amazon. I would recommend white beeswax because if you use too much, your boots will turn out a tiny bit yellowish. But you'll get just a block of beeswax. And either you can boil the beeswax down to a liquid form in a pot and apply it there if you do not own a heat gun, and then you can use a hairdryer. But I would highly recommend using a heat gun because this can get very, very hot, and this can allow you to apply very even coats of beeswax to your parade boots. So that beeswax is strong enough to resist the flexing of your foot in that parade boot, so those creases won't form again. That's the extra step that you do before base coating, optionally. Or you could just accept the creases in your boots and do not base coat over those creases. If you base coat over the creases, that base coat will crack and the rest of your shine will potentially crack as well as a result of those creases cracking. Usually it doesn't, but depending on how worked in those base coats are, then it can crack the rest of the mirror shine. So make sure you don't polish on creases if you do choose to keep creases in your parade boots. After you have 20 or so layers of base coat dry applied in there with your finger latex glove, it should look something like this. This is a good example because this is just base coat. This part hasn't been polished yet. Needs a bit more base coats, needs a bit more evening it out, but you can see there, it's not a leather grain, it's a streaky polished grain. So that's what you want. You don't want to be able to see or feel the leather grain. You want it to be all polished because polish on polish is what makes it shine. And then that's when you get your fine shining, the technique that you've probably been taught in your home unit. You'll get yourself a cloth wrapped around your finger. You'll dip it in water and a tiny bit of water. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll alternate between water and half water, half rubbing alcohol. So you'll get isopropyl alcohol, put it in a bottle of water or something, and then do half water. And then you'll get a tiny little dab of polish. If I can show you here. About the size of a pea. That's even a little bit too much. But you'll get a dab of polish that's about the size of a pea. And then you'll work that into the boot in those tiny little circles until you get a mirror shine. And it's that simple. As I mentioned before, there will be 3 videos linked in the description of this video. 2 of those videos will be from Elegant Oxford. It's a channel on shining. He knows what he's doing for sure. That's where I learned a lot of my techniques. So one of those will be a very long video on military shine, and one will be a very short video on civilian shine with still applicable techniques. It's just military shine is a little more durable with a lot more base coats than a lot of civilian shiners use. And the 3rd video will be a British Army video on them applying beeswax to their boots. It's just simply like getting an idea of what it looks like. The main thing for beeswaxing boots, you want even coats. So melt that beeswax on and apply it evenly because you don't want bumps in your beeswax. So that's the most I can say on maintaining parade boots, be sure to follow up on those resources that I will link in the description. Thanks for listening.